Hey, so I'm back. Let's see if anybody gets it. I wouldn't blame anybody for not getting it because I haven't been on for so long. And that's some of what I'm going to talk about. So, welcome whenever you come in, whether you rewatch this or you come in live right now. I just wanted to hit it live. Happy birthday to my sister, soul sister, Susie Q. I love you, and I'll be back online real soon. It was our birthday yesterday, mine and Susie's. So happy birthday to Susie. I love you. Phone's playing up after an update. I don't know how many people are suffering from that. I don't know what that is about. I don't like it. My phone and a couple of friends' phones updated and now won't charge properly. It's logging me out of apps. As soon as it's jumping in, it's jumping out. So just leave a comment if you have any ideas of what they've put in this particular software that is different from the others, because they all seem to sneak in things, in that software update that sort of force you into if you keep pressing no enough. So this is where I want to talk about the darkest valley. And I feel it's an energy that a lot of us have been going through and are going to go through in the times that we're in. And it's been a difficult time, an amazing time, and also a draining time. In that, really, I want to talk about a story that is repeated, like all of the stories, well before the Bible, but also in the Bible too, of this sort of Christ journey of what we are doing here. We've gone so far away from the teaching of Hermes. We've gone so far away from the knowing. And so for those of us who come into this space with that bit extra knowing, whatever that knowing or skill set might be, there is a difficulty level for sure. No doubt it was our soul and spirit that was then encapsulated in these bodies, knowing we would be somewhat limited and faced with many imbalances, many fractures, fissures across the land among the people. It must have been daunting. And I've been feeling that. I've been sort of getting echoes of that intuitively, of what it felt like before I came in here. And I know I go into spaces where I go into spaces of where some people are ready to listen, some people are searching. One of the things I do, and I'm getting better and better at not doing as much, is spend too much time when the intuition is screaming out saying you've done what you came here to do, you've spoken to who can be spoken to, you've listened to those who can be listened to, now go. What you find is when you're walking into these spaces as a warrior, as yourself on this hero's journey that has decided to come into this space and maintain a level of knowing enough that you know that you want to recalibrate the balance that is in society here. Nature's doing pretty good. It always does pretty good. Awesome to balance itself out. But we now even find that nature is being manipulated. So when we know we're walking into much manipulation, and we can't avoid these spaces now. We seem to have gone so far down the merry-go-round of the history loop that, we can't avoid these spaces. They're prevalent. The imbalance has been going on to an extreme for a very long time. So it does mean that we are going to find that space that we have to walk into as much as we want to avoid it. And we're going to find ourselves doing what we do with our skill set. Hey, Anne. Much love to you, Bernadette, and original Stormtrooper to you. Thank you. So we're going to find ourselves walking into these spaces even more because of the extremes that we're seeing today and the triggering on all ends and sides. It's it's ominous, but also exciting because it's what we're made of. It's what we're made to do. And so this Christ journey in the recently, and the reason I've been out of it and not on here doing what I love to do, is because I was asked to go into a space to teach. A few people that knew me that went to this space knew that it was needed. And I went, and it was very successful. And there were a lot, hey, Chad, thank you for the birthday wish. It was fabulous. I got some awesome things I'll show you all later from Abby, Mum, and friends. It's beautiful. Hello, Laurie. So I go into this space and start teaching real esoteric knowledge, real sovereignty of how somebody can really feel sovereign. And it's not firstly about common law. It's not firstly about anything other than knowing yourself, knowing thyself, and being sovereign in that state. And a lot of people were listening. A lot of people got a lot of growth from it. But intuition was telling me I was getting drained there. Intuition was telling me to skedaddle out of that space. And it magnetized a disciple, a friend. I'm a disciple to her. She's a disciple to me, this Christ journey, right? And then it magnetized a few more disciples who goes vice versa. And the good thing is, the amazing thing is of this hero's journey, this Christ story, this walk, is that I get to walk with those. And but when you start to detach yourself from energies that are congregating, particularly in these spaces of this awakened side, they don't like it when the feeding stops. And so there's a clinging on, there's a holding on, there's a making up excuses to create drama, to create. And so you become the accused, that Christ journey. Oh, there's my sister. I was just saying happy birthday to you, my lovely. It was Susie's birthday yesterday too, a share birthday. Mwah, love you, Susie. And so this space that I've been in is an energy vortex, a time vortex. And so this is where, you realize that the old saying of, you can't, don't cast your pearls before swine. My mum had started saying that to me at the same time that my intuition was saying to go. But again, stuck it just that bit too long. And so where you walk away with the awesomeness of these friends, this soul family that you've known before, they can't just let you leave. These energies that are toxic there want you to stay. They want that energetic feed-in. They want that energetic feedback. And they are hungry. They're seeking something, but they don't really know what they're seeking. So when somebody who knows thyself goes into that space, they want to feed. They want to continue it. And so you then become the accused. I literally went through a whole attack where, I was told I should be burned. That I was an evil witch, I should be burned, I should be, and this mob of people with just two people being the accusers. And so you couldn't get a more similar story to this sort of Christ journey, to this Christ journey that is found in the Bible, but is also found in the emerald tablets of the predictiveness of the way that behavior was going that Hermes spoke about. And so this is where you have this opposition, and it's finding the growth in that opposition. It's finding the strength, the bravery, the lessons, the knowledge, the wisdom, and it's coming at us hard because there are so many people triggered into seeking something, but instead of seeking themselves, they've gone and fallen for that trap of just seeking what many of us predicted coming down the line and repeating it, meme after meme after meme, creating that circle of fear and tiresomeness and exhaustion. And so they're draining their own batteries like hamsters on the wheel. But then people who aren't doing that walk into that space, that feed, and wants to continue. So as I was sort of like in a session about this yesterday, and getting into my space where I do get into that space of the goddess, of saying no more, because these people will use tactics that are of this matrix to try and keep that anchor point, to keep that energetic cord. And so I've even had to have a bogus court case put forward by a man I don't even know, because the man who was putting it forward, this narcissistic energy is hiding behind that man. So the courts have been told that, but they take time, they hijack time. So a lot of this video would be the consideration of, where is your time going? How is it being spent? How is that commodity being used and utilized? If you're putting time into the wrong places, into the wrong people, into the wrong spaces, what are you actually allowing to grow? What are you actually allowing to manifest into reality? You can be put in love and light, but if it's in the wrong space, if it's in the wrong time, into the wrong person, that love and light will be used as a weapon, and it will be used as a tool to pull other people into that space. And so this is where we are in this valley, and we are finding ourselves, much of us who came here with a dedicated path, a skill set, a journey. We're going to be walking into these valleys a lot, and these valleys are made up of shadows. When I was sort of in this moment of intercession, that it was this dark valley with the shadows, dancing on the wall, and a lot of people have gotten themselves stuck in valleys. So their shadows have become distorted, they've become toxic, they become hungry, and they don't even know what they're hungry for. And so there is a parasitic nature when you're walking into these spaces, these places, these valleys, these crevices, where you find naturally a divide on both sides, and you have to walk through there as the empath, as the intuitive, as the psychic, in the middle. And you can't, walk through it without getting a scratch here, a scratch there, the shadows clinging to your ankles. It's about right now, for a lot of us, managing that, the level of wounding or the level of damage that these shadows can have. And that's where it's really important to stay in that balanced place and find the disciples around you. But also within that, this whole journey that I've been through recently, I've found people who are absolute disciples, and I am to them. And that is the beautiful thing that came out of this. And that comes out of every space, every valley that you walk into. But what you do find is, even within those disciples, you find that you have to be so discerning, because even a few of those people that really wanted to make themselves that person in my space couldn't help but want to keep the drama going, and finding the role for themselves within that as this flying monkey go-between. So we're walking through these narcissistic valleys, and they are very prevalent right now. They have been culturally, societally manipulated into the space that we're in right now. And it is difficult, but doable, and absolutely very important. Spacey, I'll give you a reading after this. Very important to have that discernment, to have that wherewithal, that you are willing to not feel the pressure of judgment. That if you feel it's time to bang your staff 3 times in that valley to cast away whatever shadow, whatever person, entity, being is trying to cling on to you and feed from you, then you do it. because we're seeing it being played out on the screen. This is the whole Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing. This narcissistic energy, manipulating of truth, coming up with the belittling of the woman by belittling the man. You do it to both at the same time if you do it to either. And so we're going to go into this space a lot over the next few months. And so that's why it's time for me to be back here doing what I do. And so I just wanted to say to people, don't be afraid to bang your staff. Don't be afraid to be super on point. No regrets. Say what you will and do what you will. To maintain your energy, to maintain your level of peace. And so these spaces are very intense because they're not just the very obvious oppositional force that we find in governments and people who still have absolute faith in those governments. We find ourselves being led by lunatics. We find ourselves being led by sociopaths and psychopaths, and as above, so below, right? So also that is filtering down onto the people on this side, but don't think that on the other side it isn't just as bad, if not worse, because you have some people who've come in to some level of knowing, using words of sacred nature. It's like awakening, third sight, love and light, frequency, where our symbology is not just being touted and inverted and corrupted from the above, but also you've got these people, speakers, misinterpreting our symbology just as much, if not more, and putting out, like raping and pillaging them of their meaning, of their frequency. And so the damage is on both sides. And it's for those of us that walk through the middle that we need to be more stern about our symbology, all of our symbology. We need to be more stern about carrying the lessons of Hermes forward and being more productive in that we don't cast pearls before swine, because ultimately they trod them into the mud, manipulate and distort them, and use them to put an energy out that is counterproductive to what a lot of us listening to this video and beyond are here to do. And so what do we have to gain from that? Well, we're finding each other in these valleys that we're all having to walk through. We are finding each other. It is getting easier and easier to see the reflection of you within those that are on your same frequency within their eyes, and vice versa. And so with that being said, you become like another being in yourself, with this small but strong group of people recognizing what is going on around us, like on a movie screen. Ironically, having one side shout, it's all real, it's not a movie, and on the other side saying it's all a movie, it's all pretend, but touting what the other side is saying, that they're the same thing. And so a lot of us are having to move away from those spaces, but also unfortunately having to walk through them. And so when we find these other shadows of ourselves, and we can learn more about ourselves through looking and being able to receive and give love equally, without a measuring tool, without to use it as a whip, to go into any freaky kind of love. This is just genuine love. You find in your flock, you find in your crowd, your tribe, your people. And it's important to put your energy in that space, more so than either side of this valley, of this divide, because you will be feeding it to the same thing: distortion, misunderstanding, misinterpretation. And so I want to just quickly do a quick drawing of what was coming in for me. And so if you're to walk through a valley, you know, and it's shards. You have to have your staff to keep yourself steady, like the hermit. Yeah, you're going into this darkness and the shadows are everywhere, you know, coming up against the walls, fractals of light that are then bounced off the walls and distorted, make these shadows look frightening at times, makes you forget how powerful you are with your staff against distortion and against manipulation. And so as you walk through this valley, although for those of you that are going through this or can feel it coming, although your roots are having to come into contact, yes, because we're sharing this space with these energies, there are certain roots that we will have found we didn't take back in time and they've rotted, and it's time to let go of that root. It's time to let go of what is rooting you in a space that is toxic and poisonous. But these roots grow so fast, especially when they're meeting through opposing forces, because roots are really good at transmuting shit. So as you transmute every lesson that you've had to go through lately, or every win that you've had to have with long battles with very, let's put an N, narcissistic, sociopathic energies, you grow that bit taller. You have to remember who you are, because this opposing force is putting you under pressure to do so. So you build in that rod, that spine. So although your roots, and this is how it feels for a lot of us right now, are walking through these dark valleys, we are finding one another, yes, but just like a plant meeting opposing forces and transmuting it, a plant knows that it has to keep a certain part of it to seek the sun above the crevice, above the crowd of other plants. It has to be strong in order to recharge from the father, to be able to recharge from the mother, the moon, the sun and the moon. And so it literally, the opposition creates that rod, creates that stem, and you find yourself looking up. And so I just wanted everybody to know that's going through these energies, where their roots, their tips are having to touch and walk amongst them. I'm not even sharing screen, am I? Fuckity fuck. Share screen, where is it? Okay. It's been a while. So this is the valley. This is the darkness of that valley. These are the shadows that are coming up the walls, the fractals of light bouncing in and being distorted, making these shadows seem more frightening at times, more posing at times. But because of that, you know, these are the roots that you have to drop. But because of that, you're also touching nutrients as you walk through that darkness, as you walk this earth. But that opposing force, we owe it to ourselves and to this conscious pool, unconscious pool that is developing and unfolding in order to create a very different vibe here. We owe it to ourselves and to the all to use these opposing forces to create strength in our spine, to be able to reach for enlightenment, true enlightenment above the distortion. So from the darkness, you gain your nutrients, you gain your opposing force, and from the light, you gain your wisdom, your ability to understand it and process it and use it for your greatness rather than your demise. So that's what I wanted to share. It might seem like a bit of an all over message. It's been a while since I've been on. So yeah, I hope this reaches the ears of those that needed to hear it, because it's something that I feel is coming up real strong for all of us that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And we really need to not dilute this, not just do it a little bit. We need to go all full force, you know. full force, Hermes. Full force, in order to bring this energy back to a place of balance. Hey, Natalie. Bernadette, you're welcome. Space. Oh, thank you. We need to get some pictures up in here. Lucky. Thank you. Understand, Lucky, this has been a time theft, an energy theft, and I feel like a lot of us are going through that time and energy theft, those valleys. And what's the verse? Yea, though I walk through the valley, the darkest valley, I fear not. I fear no evil. I fear no, because there's fear on either side of you on this distortion of this valley, right, Lucky? And you can feel it spiritually. It's prevalent, isn't it? Those shadows on the wall are many. Ed, much love to you. Much love to you. If I've missed anybody. So dice, is it for dice, Susie? Dice. What does dice need to know? Okay. I'm sorry for the headshot. So you've got the King of Swords, but it wanted to be in reverse. So, but I've put it in the upright dice because I want to. It feels that way. So basically what I'm feeling here is that you seem to have the King of Swords is air. It's words, it's wisdom, it's intellect and knowledge. The King of Swords sits very firmly. You can see he's made out to be a giant among his surroundings. The trees are tiny. He is giant because he is knowledge, his wisdom, his consciousness. And so he has to be all encompassing and overseeing his space. But in the reverse, this is a very narcissistic energy. This is a very intelligent and very manipulative energy. And so it feels like you're being told to really firmly sit on your throne of consciousness, to really firmly and decisively filter out that isn't serving you. And if this king in reverse represents a character for you in your life, cut the cord. They'll cause trouble like you won't believe. Now, what else came out was the Knight of Swords. And this is like messages charging in, thoughts charging in. So listen to the thoughts that come into your mind. Don't question, write them down, be able to reflect on them later on, but also listen to what this narcissistic energy that I feel might be around you is saying. They're telling you what they're going to do out of their own mouth. They're the projector screen. They're a conscious projector screen. And so their subconscious is leaking through that. So listen to the words. There's also the Three of Pentacles around you. So that is that you do have this tribe waiting to work with you, be with you, work on a project, but you must enter in that space of being on the throne of air, of oxygen, breathe deeply, and oversee your space with a firm and fair hand. Doesn't suffer fools gladly, and you do well to not suffer fools gladly at the minute. Dice. Space. So space. Thank you, Susie Q. So thank you, Lucky. Psalm 23, 1, verse 64. Yea, though I walk through the valley, the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me. And you know, that is spoken in the stories of old, before the Bible and through the Bible, and it counts in that we are walking through many valleys and fissures, cracks of divide in this space that are man-made, absolutely man-made. if you can say that, because there's lots of beings here, but you know what I mean. They're not nature made. And so we do have to walk through these valleys, but we do have to do it without fear, particularly fear of judgment. So ask yourself, what are you fearing? When your intuition is saying, leave this space, get out of this space, and you don't, what is it that you're fearing? And unpick that shit and unpick it quick. Use your rod. Your rod is your stability. It is your protector. It is there also for you to guide others, but make sure you're guiding the right others, because they, you know, for a lot of us, we found ourselves not doing, and that is not an easy task, and it doesn't end well. You know, rod of lightning. You know, you bring down that lightning where it's needed. You don't be afraid. That is love and light. If you're doing that in a distorted space to bring balance, that is love and light. So space. So you've got the Wheel of Fortune. It's the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, but nevertheless space, it's the Wheel of Fortune. And so you find yourself in the upside down world. You find yourself in stranger things, in that you really are discerning and able to see with the 9 of Wands, 9 of Fire, 9 of Rods, coupling this Wheel of Fortune. And so you see here, this guy's looking pretty battered and bruised and like, ugh, that's been a long journey, but he's holding one rod. There are many rods behind him, but he's holding this rod for stability, and is holding this rod for a sense of warmth, because you might have a lot around you, but you're not feeling warmth from that. It's not resonating with you, and it feels like you're like this guy in the card looking at the screen and saying, what the heck is being projected here? What on earth am I having projected around me? So the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is saying you have that essence and power, that soul power that you came in with, to turn that wheel, but you are still allowing yourself some ways somehow to resonate in an upside down world that does not apply to you. And so where you might have been trying to bring in aid for others or trying to bring in balance for others, this is where the 9 of Wands, you take that stop and pause and really have a dose of discernment to follow the right path and turn that wheel the right way around. And for now, that wheel the right way around for you is very focused on you, how you want your destiny to play out, how you want to incorporate the stars, the blueprint that you were born with, the soul energy that you came into this space as a fractal of self, as a part of the all. I want you to speak to yourself like that, because that is what you are. And maybe you just forgot that a bit. So take that wheel and turn it, and that is with balance. You've got the Temperance card on the bottom of the deck, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the land, one chalice being poured and the other one catching it, transmuting it across the heart space, balanced wings, but also being able to look above and understand more than most around you. Temperance, being tempered, not losing your temper even. With these energies you have around you, that's wasted energy, wasted time and energy that you can be putting into a passionate space for you. So that would be your very strong advisement today. 6:30 for you. Lovely morning. May is really special for me, obviously came in. But my mom's birthday is in May, my brother's birthday, we're all within less than a week of each other. And Susie Q's birthday is in May, Wayne. So a lot of the people around me have a very special month. Robert, hello, my lovely, on Facebook there. Share the stream, Robert, for me. Grace under pressure. This has made me think about the opposing forces, Jennifer. Thank you, Robert. You know what's been happening. I think this is one of your best talks. Oh, all the world's a stage. Must say, think things will get worse on this planet, so we have to be strong and see the package, the illusion of persona, of personal. I think he ran out of words on the thing. So thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. Big love to you, my friend. Yeah, it is going to get worse. It's what I said earlier in the video, and it's why I wanted to put this out, because it is about being supportive to one another, and not suffering fools gladly, because a lot of these fools are creating a lot of imbalance. Yoselin, that's how I pronounce it. I always forget, but big love to you. John, morning. Oh, down. Okay, so my Susie Q wants your birthday, original Stormtrooper, in June. My dad's is in June. Let us know when it's your birthday. Thank you, Susie. Susie's put up the email for readings. I don't like seeing myself, but I don't know how to share it. Forgotten. Susie Q. Susie Q. Susie Q. Birthday girl. King of Cups, Susie Q. Oh, there's my girl. The sun on the bottom of the deck. There's some kind of harvest coming, sister. This being depicted as a Gemini card, and other cards, and other signs, because it's the sun, but often on the horse is the Gemini twins, naked as the day they were born. We just have one child here, but the sunflowers are this sign of peace. And the red, you know, the sign of passion, happiness, heat, growth, and harvest. And so your time of harvest has been long coming, but you've been preparing for it. Now I have this King of Cups here for you also. So this speaks of an interest in you. You're being seen, and so you should be, in the way that you're gaining real respect with a particular male energy that just sees you, recognizes your soul, your essence, your imprint with that Judgment card. But there's some kind of connection here as to the link here between this person and you, helping this harvest be triple fold. I'll have to speak privately to you to go into that more, but yeah, that sounds interesting. Trinka, much love to you. Oh, thank you for listening later. Anyway, love, big love to you. Have a great day. Andrew Phillips, see to you. Yeah, need to talk, Susie Q. I got all these court papers in. It's ridiculous. And you know, I'm sitting on so much that could just stop this, but these energies, you've got to navigate them. So I've got my evidence there should I need it, but I'm not going to be doing as much clerical stuff. They've been stealing time, Susie Q. I'm claiming that back tenfold, and I've banged my staff yesterday. You probably felt it. I got up, I went into full-blown ritual. I banged my staff. I walked through that valley, and I brought lightning into that valley to sever those energetic cords. And I actually got a message from one of them out of the blue today, as if I'd had that conversation with them. And so great, it worked. That was just my proof that it worked, not that I needed it. But bang your staff, because there's been time theft here. Now, time theft is a terrible piracy. it's a down and dirty pirate. It's not even the type of pirate I like. Don't steal people's time, because, you know, time is where we manifest creation constantly. So don't take that away from me. I'll claim interest. And I want you all to do that too. My surroundings look very simple. They are. This is just a corner of a corner. And but actually, no, I've got a really nice home, moderate home. But yeah, I like simple, but I also like a bit funky too. So yeah, before I go, actually, hey to you, Peter. Show you one of the things that I've got. I got some copper cups. I don't know where I've put that, but this, you got me. I'm going to stick that up on the surroundings. So this is the strength card, like a tapestry. Now, the beautiful symbology of this, you see here how you've got the moon, the sun, the sign of the infinity, and from her heart, this is where, you know, at the God level, where we should be finding ourselves. This is where you are. You are both male and female. You are divine. And so you're a divine creator and you're all right. You're both the rod and the spark. And so she's holding this from the heart, and she depicts the divine feminine energy that walks the earth, but that also holds the lion, the masculine energy, with poise and grace, and allows him to go into action as and when needed. But that balance is created, and it is infinite. And this is where we need to recognize ourselves to be and find ourselves. And we need to be riding our inner lion, and holding this balance through these valleys. I love it. I love it. I love the copper. Anything copper, original Stormtrooper, it's so important. And I love the energy. I had just ginger water in it today, and it was perfect. So I'm glad you know that. Who is that? Sarah. Hey, Peter. Oh, that's the same Peter. I covered it up with hair anyway. Okay, Sarah Jane. That's a really nice name. Okay. So Sarah, the 9 of Cups has come out for you. You are finding bliss amongst difficulties. You're finding your space, your balance, your happiness. But there's something about your surroundings with this 10 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. You see here. So this is the nine of Cups. You're finding a space of happiness within self, but it's not after you. It's only after you've gone through a really traumatic journey of where you've been stabbed in the back. This is air. It's words. It's consciousness, thoughts, words of others, limits of others, and you can see how they're lodged right in the spine, each vertebrae, blocking your energetic flow. What I want to say to you, Sarah, is the only thing is don't stay in this space. Get out of it. It's the 10. That cycle is over for you. But if you try and seek out the blocks that these words, these limitations that these swords represent in each vertebrae have where they've been caused, and while you do that healing journey, don't be around heavy drinkers, and don't turn to that source of feeling like it's helping or healing yourself. Find that bliss organically, find that peace organically, and really move away from those that are over drinking. That wouldn't be a good space for you now, because if you can move out of that space, there's so much happiness here, and there's nothing like going through a real tough cycle in your life, because Nine of Cups feels all that much better again, because you can have a really stark contrast in your consciousness of what you've just been through and how this nine feels. And the nine is the realm of all possibilities. But there is justice coming in for you, whatever that might mean. But I want you to claim that justice, not for you to look outside of self. Yes, if there's court cases, like myself, let them roll out, of course, but you will claim in the result of that by claiming this justice within yourself, weighing your own heart, weighing your own passion, your own consciousness, and get in that balance and claiming that justice within yourself, that you feel justified to be happy and let go, that you feel justified to draw this, that, and this in from the universe. You don't need anybody else to deliver that to you. It's there for you to grab at and manifest. You don't need to sit there and say, I manifest that this happens, so that this happens, so that this happens. You know, you say, I draw from the ether this, this, and this. And I don't question how that is created. I just know that me putting out those building blocks, they're going to come back at me like a Lego built, the way I manifest them. So yeah. Musgrave, much love to you too. I hope that helps, Sarah. Oh, in my research, we are made with intention of Aeon, I will say this wrong, Thelete, father, and in wisdom of Aeon, Sophia, mother. So we have divine mitosis of both masculine and feminine. That is a really beautiful way to say, yes, we do. Legos Master Builder. Yeah, get that stuff built. Get that stuff built, Sarah. You can do it, but don't rely on anybody else. You've done that. You've given so much to others. You just draw it in from the ether for now, for you, darling, and drink lots of water. Also, Aeon, Christ, yes, the anointing is in the core of that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd love to know your two opinion of another time about Elon Musk and the way that he named that child. And also I need to do a video about Amber Heard's child, something that came through really strong, where they're trying to build this sort of new way, rip-off way of that anointing. And I think those children have been built in one way or the other that way. It doesn't make them any less special, but we need to know. So I think that's why it's rolling out. And I think that's why they named the child a code rather than a DNA code rather than a name. Drink lots of water. Hey, Nicholas. Yeah, it helps you transmute that energy. So I'm going to go. I'm going to be, oh, there's one of the cups, look. Now, I love my family. They know exactly what I like. So I'm going to go because I've got lots to do. Please check out my Facebook, True Divine 44 and Divinity, where you can order your holistic teas. Amongst other things, I've been making some superfly oils full of antioxidants, full of a certain thing that would treat anyway the monkey of the pox, that new story coming out, which need to speak about. That's a rerun of Fauci in 1981. Hey, Colin. But yeah, check out that Divinity, True Divine 44. Obviously, subscribe here if you haven't already on YouTube. Check out my Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. True Divine 44 for TikTok, The True Divine for Twitter and Instagram. I need to build those up. I need to take back my energy, take back my time, get out those promo videos. And so it would really help if you all chipped in. Let's have like a painting party. You know, you have people around to do a little bit. Amber Alert, she does give a whole new meaning. It's like Amber Alert, narcissist to the left. Thank you so much, Stormtrooper. Narcissist. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. So I love you all. I appreciate you all. Many thanks for you being here. I'm going to try and get on and do a video again later, but I'm going to not promise that. We need to set a regular time. I'm going to just do it once a month at first to try and build that back up again. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, my love. I'll get in touch. And the boys are going to be more catered for very soon. So that's going to make things a heck of a lot easier, time-wise and money-wise. Time to be able to make more money. So yeah, all good. Happy birthday, my Susie Q. Much love to you and to everybody else. Stay balanced and stay whole and stay love.